Hello and welcome to the Lost Art Podcast. I'm Gar and I am here with...
My name's Paul.
That's him. This is day 7 in the Big Brother house.
This is day 7 in the Big Brother house, and Chantel has put a wine bottle up a jacksie.
So cold.
So bubbly.
God almighty. God help us. So this week we are going to do a podcast about bands that have broken up. They all broke up.
People are like, what?
Yeah.
It's not a good idea. But
Apparently so.
just kind of interesting. No, what I mean is it's kind of interesting. We don't think, I'm pretty sure mine aren't getting back together. We have to make calls on this, I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to give them odds.
Yeah.
On whether they're getting back together again. Well, tell you what, let's get straight into it.
The reason as well is it might be interesting to hear about why they broke up as well, which is part of the podcast. It is.
There's a million bands who broke up and got back together again.
Of course.
You know, that's part and parcel.
Money.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's probably more to them in popular music than there are bands who just knocked it on the head.
I should say as well, two of the biggest ones that you would think of aren't on this list because they feature prominently on so many of our podcasts. And that's ABBA and Smiths.
Yeah.
Like, I had Smiths on it as well, but then I realised that they were, and Manson, they're on another list that I had. And ABBA have been on at least one and will be on many others. So we can just say that those are the two bands that ABBA definitely won't.
Smiths definitely are.
Oh, I think they might actually, yeah.
Cash Money. Well, what's happening to Morrissey at the moment? 100%. Within the next 5 years, you are seeing a fucking Smiths reunion. I'm putting.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't.
Down.
I'm not as confident as you about the Smiths.
I'd bet dollars to donuts it's going to happen.
ABBA might as well be releasing albums every day because they're making money off their albums every day.
They don't need to.
And when you get old and have families, they're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up on stage like a big fucking goon anymore.
Like, again, they put so many songs out and so many albums out that they were so popular. Like I said, they can just sit back and watch royalty checks come in. They don't actually have to do it.
What worries me about the Smiths is, though, he is doing very well, surely. Oh, he was.
His new tour is not selling well whatsoever.
Yeah, well, is it because he's doing covers of things that no one's ever heard of?
Well, people are going, he's only doing a couple of those.
And let's be honest, half of that album was good and half of it was not.
Yeah, well, that's...
No, the other album is his actual studio album.
The last good album he had was the, not Low and High School, the...
Leaders of the Free World. No, that's Elbow.
My brain.
Free World Peace Options.
The one that has fucking university stairs and all in it, whatever that's called. World Peace is none of your business.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic album.
So, just so you know, we're not admitting ABBA and Talking Heads are... Oh, fuck me. So my first one's... you're up actually first, are you?
No, you're going first.
I'm first. It's Talking Heads, believe it or not. Yeah. It's Talking Heads. I absolutely do not think they will ever get back together. No. Not in a million years. No. I think that is definitely the end.
There's probably no point.
There isn't any point. We're going to go through the reasons why.
Yes.
The song I've picked for the playlist, this isn't really about the playlist so much as, you know, the bands.
This is just a good example.
The song I picked is This Must Be the Place. I really like this song. I do find a lot of Talking Heads quite difficult to listen to sometimes, but the early stuff goes so fast. Yeah. It's like, from the word go, it's like, Jesus. Yeah. Now, obviously, they're one of the most influential bands of the late 70s and early 80s. They are genuinely in top 10 influential bands of all time.
Yeah, big time.
In music, of all types of music.
Because they were weird.
Including fucking Beethoven and the Beatles and shit. Like, honestly. They're so odd.
They're so bananas weird.
I don't think they'll get back together because they are very much so a protect our legacy type of band. They are happy with everything that happened. They think that was the end. You're gonna have to think about David Byrne is still super active.
Yep.
He's working with loads of people that he wants, new artists, old artists. He does that thing where he goes, like we said in the other podcast, finds old albums, like he found that William Onibior album from Nigeria, and he just loves finding these little niche albums that didn't do so well and puts them out on his label, I think. So, he doesn't... I say he because I'll talk about David Byrne because the rest of the band, I'm sorry, would do it. Yeah. And this will be a common thread. You'll find the non-lead singers will want to do it more or be more open to it in interviews than the singer will. Yeah. Because singers are far more marketable post-band breakup. Yep. And that's just the way it is. So David Byrne has said he doesn't mind the idea of reunions. Yeah. He likes, in particular, the Pixies ones because he thinks that they are now getting to a crowd that they didn't have the first time round.
Yes.
Like they would have, some bands just are ahead of their time, whatever like that, or else the crowd comes later when they've finished up. So the Pixies reunion makes sense. They're enjoying playing the songs to massive amounts of crowds. He did say he's not doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It would be nostalgic with no more Talking Heads music to bring to it.
Because he does Talking Head songs in his own
That's
songs as
what I was coming to.
So,
That's the main reason it's not going to happen.
there's no
He's
point.
doing Talking Heads with that voice,
Yeah.
with band members who people don't really look past him. You know what I mean?
Anyway,
Like,
yeah, probably better musicians than the original ones.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
there's been some bad blood in the band. Tina Weymouth said he is a man of incapable of returning friendship. That's fucking. That's an aggressive statement.
Yes.
well, it's not aggressive. It's true. It's heartfelt and it's meant.
You can
but
smell
that's
it off him. Yeah.
But that kind of when you hear it, you know when people's like, "Oh, what's that guy like?" He's like this. If you hear a sentence like that, you're like, "Oh,
yeah,
he's
that's
he's
a career ender, like a friendship ender.
yeah." Yeah. So Talking Heads.
Talking Heads.
I'm not going to lie to you, right? I don't like them as much as everyone loves them.
No, I'm the same.
I do like them though, a lot.
I have time for Talking Heads, and I would never turn them off. And I have been known to play Talking Heads from time to time.
Yeah,
However,
a few
they
absolute
are
bangers.
not on my go-to list.
Like when I go through artists sometimes, when I want to start from the start, I find the early Talking Head stuff very hard to listen to. It's so jangly and upbeat. And it's great and all if you're into that kind of thing. But I found, I just wanted, for instance, Psycho Killer starts perfectly with that. Doom, 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 doom. And it builds up. You can build up as fast as you want. But when I'm listening to their early albums, they are hitting it high tempo early. And it's mad jangly and it can be quite difficult. It's not difficult to get into. I understand everything that's happening. I'm not fucking thick. But it's just, it's not really all that for me, Talking Heads. Except I do like them.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be one of my favourite bands.
I'm with you.
Talking Heads, chances of getting back together for you?
Never say never. I'm going to give it a 3 out
I'd
of
give
10.
it a 4 to 5, yeah. Just because, like, they've all, never say never comes up in interviews a lot with the people we've been reading. Talking Heads getting back together? I don't think so.
Very low.
Who's your next one? The first one.
My first one. I picked one of my favourite bands of all time. A band that it makes me sad that I'm never going to get to experience it in its purest form.
In its original form, do you mean?
And it's Cro-Mags.
So are they rattling along in a...
Cro-Mags exists still to this day in two different forms.
That's less than Boney M.
Yeah. There's... Basically, with Cro-Mags, you've got the first album. You got the first album called The Age of Quarrel. And The Age of Quarrel is probably is the wrong word. Definitely one of the most influential.
At least say definitely, but then he said one of the... You can hit definitely hard if you say one.
Yeah.
But if you say definitely you are pigeonholed
setting
to
yourself
fuck.
up, yeah. It's definitely one
Oh.
of the most influential heavy albums of all time. Without a shadow of a doubt. It influenced everything that came after it. It was a weird amalgamation of early 80s hardcore punk, which would have been kind of in its infancy anyway, and like thrash metal.
Yeah.
And what came out of it was this absolute fucking insane album that's perfect from start to finish. The Age of Quarrel, there is not a wasted moment on it. It's so perfect, it's fucking disgraceful. It's so perfect that it's hard to look at, to listen to other heavy albums that have just been churned out. Like, it makes everything else sound
Do you hear
like
loads
shite.
of it in that, yeah?
It's every album after it has Age of Quarrel in it, right? Like, every band that turned the distortion button on their amplifiers.
Because I always thought that they were just a straight up hardcore band, but then I listened to them and I was like, there's definitely trash.
There's so much. It's just outrageous. So they formed in 1982.
Not trash, but the beginnings of like...
They formed in 1982 in New York. And the main guy who put it together is a guy called Harley Flanagan. The stories involved in weaving this Cro-Mags fucking tale is absolutely outrageous. So, Harley Flanagan was like Jesus Christ, he's like an icon of the punk scene. He was the drummer in a band called the Stimulators. And Stimulators they weren't the biggest band in the world, but they were kind of famous because Harley was like fucking 12 or 13 years of age when he was the drummer in this band. He was a baby and he was touring all over Europe, right? He is actually, this is a weird little tale. They played a gig in Ireland. They went to, I think it was Belfast. They were in a little European tour. They'd done a couple of gigs in England. They jumped over here, done a gig in Belfast, and that's where he first met Skinheads. This would have been in like 1980, maybe 1979, 1980, probably 79 actually. And it's where he first experienced Skinheads, like the Trojan kind of ska and reggae and street punk kind of Skinheads. He'd never seen it before. So off he went to the Jacks, shaved his head, bought the denim jacket, the acid, like bleach watch jeans, the whole thing, went back to New York, brought the skinhead movement with him. So he basically created the skinhead movement and style in New York because he learned it here in Ireland when he was with Stimulators. So you cut forward a couple of years, he wants to get this band together and he has the name, he's going around with spray cans, writing Cro-Mags on the side of walls, just a whole band trying to get it together. Slowly but surely, pieces together this band, gets the singer in. They had an original singer, done a couple of demos with them and then kind of fucked off. But they get in this guy called John Joseph. John Joseph is, he's AWOL from the Navy. He changed his name. His father's from Belfast as well. Family moved here.
A lot of fucking Nordish links.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Father moved to America when he was like 20 and ended up got some woman pregnant. I think she had two sons, and then the father was a scumbag. He's a professional boxer, and he was battering the ma. And the kids got taken off the mother and father and put into homes. So John Joseph and his brother were raised in foster homes and fucking orphanages.
In Belfast?
No, this is in New
York. Oh, right.
The father was just from Belfast originally. Right. So he's raised in orphanages and homes, and he joins the Navy. And while he's stationed somewhere, he goes to some pub and hears Bad Brains. They're playing live there. And changes his entire life.
Would though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Around that year, yeah.
Not the reggae Bad Brains.
Not the reggae, but early backflipping HR, fucking Sonic Assault, punk rock, hardcore, fucking Bad Brains. Here's them, loses his fucking mind. Decides to go AWOL from the army. Just runs off. Disappears.
AWOL.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Runs off. So AWOL. Runs off and moves to New York. Goes back to New York, where he is living homeless, selling fucking fake acid and drugs on the streets and all this kind of shit. Meets up with Harley. Harley says, trying to get this punk rock band together. Would you like to join? So this is where the fucking story essentially begins. Off they go. They record this album, The Age of Quarrel. Everything changes. Just absolutely fucking the biggest combination of all the heavy styles of music that were doing the rounds at this time. That's the beginning of the end. It all turns to shy. The minute that album's done, they do a couple of done a tour with Motorhead, a couple of little small tours. Turns out, it depends on who you believe, right? Everybody in Cro-Mags now, and for the last 30 years, has fucking hated each other so much. They all despise each other. There's maybe
Something
two of them
bad
that got
happened.
all the bad stuff happened. John says that Harley was stealing the money. They were living on like one yogurt a day was the way he was explaining it. The way their tour budget was set for this, they had like 5 to 10 cents a day and they were going in and buying all these like shitty fucking like literally one pot of Yoplait and that was their dinner until hopefully somebody at the venue gave them a bite of their sandwich. Do you know what I mean? And their album was selling particularly well and was very famous, but they hadn't tuppence. They hadn't a penny to rub together. But it turns out that Harley had been taking all the money and fucking hiding it. He was keeping it all for himself.
Well, watching them eat yogurts.
Yeah.
Not even Yoplait.
Not even. It would have been whatever. Tesco value.
Not even Muller.
No, nothing like that. Way too fucking fancy. We're talking like yellow pack. KVI fucking yogurts is what we're talking.
When they should have been on Fromage Frais.
They should have been on the fucking Frubes, lad. They should have had a 16 pack of Frubes in a cooler in their van. But it turns to shy. They all fucking hate exactly each. Turns to shy. John leaves not too long after this first album was released. They had a second album written called Best Wishes, but they hadn't recorded it yet. So Harley thinks it'd be a fucking great idea if I'll go in here now and I'll record this album and I'll do the vocals for this album. So the songs themselves are fucking super, but Harley's voice is just this kind of low rent, kind of James Hetfield-esque fucking fucking doesn't sing.
But it was alright on the first album.
But it wasn't Harley singing on the first album, it was John.
Yeah,
but
sorry,
John has fucked off.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
Right? So John's gone into the fucking ether. He's